Ron, obviously, Raekwon and Mike deserve all the credit in the world. They've played tremendously. But underrated has been Gerald and, and Naquan's play. Can you talk about the backup defensive tackles? Because they're not getting much credit, but even D'Antonio credited them this week.
No doubt. Those guys are having about 20 plays a game right now, and we wish we could get them more. But our two starters want to be there as much as they can, but they have been a factor, number one, in making sure we play strong all the time, and when you're on the field, being able to give maximum effort. And those guys have came in and put themselves in position technically to gain those reps. And last week ended up with half a sack apiece and some pressures and some ball disruptions. So it's been good.
What are some of the challenges of this Maryland rushing attack? What do they do uniquely that makes them so effective?
Well, I think it starts with their personnel, 4 tailbacks. Number one, being able to keep them fresh and athletic and being able to run. And number two, their quarterback who makes them go, and then their backup quarterback. And we haven't even started to talk about their veteran offensive line, number one, and their wide receivers. So the complete group of 11 who's on the field is a big part of that, but I think it's the athleticism of the group that keeps you on your toes, because they all can run the ball and they all can catch it.
Run defense has been the strength of you guys, though, right? I mean, this is sort of the ultimate test of fits and discipline and everything you guys have been to this point in that.
Well, you just said that. That's most definitely it, and it's a challenge just like we had last week, and that's why we're preparing for all the inside, outside zones and the ability to run jet sweep, all the different personnel that can do it. I mean, whoever's in the game gets an opportunity to move those guys around, and it is a great challenge, and we make sure we have to be disciplined and create great leverage on the field with our defense.
I think last time you guys went there, I think they had a pair of 100-yard rushers. You guys still got a number of key players from that group. Is that something that lingers that you talk about, and extra motivation or whatever?
Well, you brought it up, but it's always in the history, number one. Number two, we've had young guys that were in that situation, so some of the first times some of them been on the field. I think we had some redshirt freshmen and some true freshmen on the field, including our middle linebacker, Joe Bacci. So no doubt, and they'd be able to understand the experiences and grow from that, but knowing what they did and did not do. But yeah, it was a great start for some careers in that group right there, about 4 or 5 of our players who were freshmen.
When you watch Raekwon on the field, and you think back to him a couple of years ago, what are the real differences you see when you watch him on film?
Well, number one, the understanding of his position and what is entailed and with the things that the strengths and weaknesses of the position that you play. Number two, him understanding better what he can do with his big frame, number one. Playing with better pad level, always a key for him, and utilizing his hands and understanding what the offense is trying to do to him more now. And that has come with experience, and now he can play that much faster, so you get to see his athleticism a lot more.
He said he can tell when the guy in front of him is getting sick of blocking him, like the Purdue guy at some point just started grabbing him and holding him, and that's it. Can you tell that on film sometimes when guys are just a little worn out and late in games from dealing with him?
On both sides of the ball, that's for sure. And those are late parts of the game, and maybe it's a 4th or 5th play of a drive, and you can tell who his will is being imposed on, and that happens on both sides of the ball, so most definitely. But he has such a great motor, and I think that's just one of the strongest keys of this young man. He continues to play. He never wants to leave the field, and that's why it's hard to get a Naquan and a Gerald on the field, because of those two guys up front. And right now, Raekwon has the most reps as a defensive tackle for us right now, and it's been strong, and he continues to use that motor.
He's not a trash talker, though. He says people say he never really says much when he's on there. You ever hear him bark about his own play?
No. Bark about his own play, maybe just about what's going on the field, and he's a communicator about what he sees, and he stays pretty focused out there. Not a lot of trash talking at all, from what I understand. Just till he gets to the sideline, he'll start laughing and enjoying himself, and that's what's been a pleasure. He can balance the two.
I think it was 2 weeks ago against Michigan. I think he ran about 20 yards downfield, made a diving tackle for a guy that's listed at 300 pounds and probably a little bit more than that. Is he one of the more athletic guys you've had in the middle since you've been here?
Yes, most definitely. He's up there with a couple of the other guys. And again, last week versus Purdue, same situation, bursting down the field in the 3rd and 4th down situation versus a jailbreak where you have to retrace back and create leverage from inside out. And he made 4 plays that way. And this past weekend.
You played in the league. I mean, how does he fit at that next level?
Well, he's going to have an opportunity, number one. Always looking at the athleticism, the measurables that you see from the height, the weight, the speed, and what he continues to do is gaining the experience of what is expected for him at the next level. And this will be a great segue for him. So he continues to get stronger. He's going to have that opportunity.
Getting kind of late into the season, is there kind of like an update or like a plan for Jacob Slade? I know he suited up in the opening, so I guess with the redshirt rule and everything, I know Mark mentioned
Well,
that.
he's most definitely one of the kids that we would love to get on the field as much as possible, but we have 4 guys in front of him. And but he has warranted the opportunity to be on the field, and when that time comes and Coach D gives me the thumbs up, we're going to put him on the field, but he's ready to go.
But there's not like a specific plan then? It's kind of just like a touch and feel kind of thing?
Always touch and feel. I know the last 4 games, we understand the stat part of that, but it's based on what we see on the field, and can he help us with his strengths on the field? And that's number one, pass rush and his ability to get to the quarterback.
Where are Mike and Raekwon graded out for you guys in terms of the rest of the defense throughout the year? I mean, I'm guessing they're right near the top or at the top.
Yes, both in points and in winning percentage. They've been winners in every game that we've won, and so we want them to continue to do that. But they have won basically at a high rate each week in points, as far as production points and in their scores.
You mentioned talking to Raekwon about the chance he'll have in the NFL. He's a 4th-year guy now. Is that something you've talked to him about the potential after this season of making that leap and at least considering it and looking at it?
No, sir, we haven't talked about it at all, so I couldn't answer that question.
Anything else, Victor?
I appreciate it.
Thanks, Ron.